reason. He's loving the spotlight as well. I don't care how you slice it. Senator Barack Obama's paying for it. How much? That's what time will tell on that one. Wright spoke today at the National Press Club for just about an hour. Spoke, had a speech, took some questions as well. And he did not back down from any of his controversial comments that he had said in sermons past. Tried to give him some context, but at the end of the day, to one example, he still says, basically, we had 9/11 coming. And that's bad for Barack Obama. Joining us now to talk about it is Liberal Radio Talk Show host Stephanie Miller. Stephanie, good to have you back. And also joining us, Bishop Harry Jackson, the senior pastor at Hope Christian Church. We'll talk to him in just a second. Stephanie, let's start with you. How bad is it for Barack Obama? It's not good. We've been talking about Jeremiah Wright for 5 days now.
Well, yes, I wish the Reverend would hush now. But, you know, I mean, quite honestly, I got to say, Mike Huckabee came out today and defended Obama and, you know, the Reverend. He said, look, you talk extemporaneously when you're preaching. And I can't see how anyone can be held responsible for everything their preacher has ever said in 30 years. Many of us don't believe with everything that our priests or rabbis or pastors say.
I think, it comes down to what was said, and it's that, well, and let's give an example. Let's talk about the 9/11, because there's those certain things that get our attention that say, uh-oh, and that was one of them. Basically, that we had 9/11 coming. He tried to give context, but here he was again after the speech talking about that again. Let's give that a listen.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You cannot do terrorism on other people and expect it never to come back on you. Those are biblical principles, not Jeremiah Wright bombastic, divisive principles.
Okay, basically saying there we are doing terrorism. And again, that speaks to the point, and you know where we're going with this, Stephanie, that Barack Obama listened to that for 20 years. How can he undo that?
Mike, I think when you phrase it like that, we had 9/11 coming. Of course, no one agrees with that. But I will tell you that conservative commentator Pat Buchanan has said in different words almost the same thing, that Al-Qaeda doesn't hate us for our freedom. They hate us for our policies. But one of which was having troops in Saudi Arabia, which we've removed now.
I'll let you finish.
So, you know, that's what I'm saying is some of the things he said, other foreign policy experts actually agree with. I agree with you that he said it in an inflammatory way.
I know. And I was going to say that, Pat Buchanan, and we all know why we're here. If Barack Obama is not sitting in the pews, we're not here talking right now. We know that very well. I want to get Bishop Jackson in on this. Bishop, how damaging do you think this is for Barack Obama when Jeremiah Wright is loving that spotlight? And let's face it, he did today.
Well, I think it's very damaging to Barack Obama. I think Jeremiah Wright is promoting himself and his agenda. And unfortunately, he does not speak for all black clergy. He doesn't speak for me. He speaks for a stream in the black community, not the entire black church. And so what he said is timing is bad. His approach is bad. He was arrogant in the meeting. And I think that he misrepresented the black church. And I also think that he probably did himself and Barack Obama great damage.
Is he preaching any truth as you listen, Bishop?
Well, I think there's a mixture there. He's got a confused gospel. And so some of what he says about our history certainly has some validity to it. But his take on it and the bitterness that seems to be coming forth from him is antithetical to the message of the cross. And so I've got a concern that I believe he's misrepresenting the church.
Hey, I want to listen to one other soundbite. This is Jeremiah Wright. I think, anyway, I want to get your guys' take on it. Taking probably the strongest jab at Barack Obama for not standing by him. Let's listen, and then Stephanie will pick up with you.
As I said to Barack Obama, my member, I'm a pastor, he's a member. I'm not a spiritual mentor, a guru. I'm his pastor. And I said to Barack Obama last year, if you get elected, November the 5th, I'm coming after you. Because you'll be representing a government whose policies grind under people.
Okay, and then he also went on to say he intimated about forgiveness as well, that basically that Barack Obama needs to ask Jeremiah Wright for forgiveness, that Barack Obama should have stood by him. Stephanie, does that hurt Obama as well in the sense that you listened for 20 years and you can't stand by me? What's your take on that?
Mike, I think what his point is that he has always and will always hold this government responsible for things that he thinks are wrong. I think over 30 years, I'm sure he's talked a lot about Jesus, about a lot of things a lot of preachers talk about. I agree with you. If you take anybody's, most inflammatory things and boil them down to 2 or 3 sound bites that keep playing endlessly on YouTube, you can make anybody look crazy. Seriously, go on YouTube and check me out. Seriously, you take 2 or 3 clips.
I might be on there as well. Bishop, I'm sure that I'm not sure who you're endorsing politically. But let me ask you about African Americans that that endorse Barack Obama. What are they saying? Are they getting skittish? Are they getting fearful? What are you hearing?
Well, all of them think that Wright is self-absorbed and that he has taken this thing to the nth degree. I think ultimately we have one man at the end of his career attempting to become the next Al Sharpton, or more, probably he wants to be Martin Luther King Jr. But that's not really what's happening now. And he may be damaging the opportunity for the first African American to actually become a president by these shenanigans. And I call them shenanigans because there's no validity to what he's saying, and the timing is awful. And today again, the spirit in which he communicated was absolutely horrific. And he seemed arrogant, egotistical,
right,
and he did not represent the cross or its message.
All right, Bishop Harry Jackson, Stephanie Miller, we appreciate your time. And let's face it, who's affected here is that undecided, those people in the middle, mostly white voters. They don't know where to go. They hear this. It's not helping Barack Obama. That gets us back to our original point. Thanks to the both of you.